Today I'm doing a challenge artist versus coloring book, and I will do it using my iPad and Procreate app. This will not be my typical step-by-step video, but you can join me in this challenge as I will be explaining what I'm doing. I've decided to color Ariel from the Little Mermaid movie, and here I have a color palette for this illustration. If you want, you can download it, it will be linked in the description of this video. I will also leave a link to this coloring page. So let's start. I'm making a new canvas and it will be 105 by 150 mm and 300 dpi. So now let's get the coloring page. Like I said before, I'm leaving the link to this website in the description, so you can pick the same drawing or a different one. Here's the one I'm choosing, and I will just download it to my iPad. Now I'm back in Procreate and I will import it. I am making it bigger so it can fit the canvas nicely. And now, as you can see, those lines are a little bit blurry, so let's fix them. I'm going to the adjustments and I'm taking sharpen, so now I can slide my pencil on the screen to adjust it, and I will make it about 60%. Now I'll take curves and change it like this. And now it's much better, you can see the difference. Now to color this, I still have to turn this into a line art without the white background. So let's do it. I'm copying the canvas and now I'm making a new layer and coloring it black. Now I'm adding a mask to this layer and I will paste that drawing into it. And now I can invert it like that. And I'm merging the mask with the layer. And the outlines are ready. Let's start coloring this. I'm starting with adding a new layer for the background and coloring it with this nice blue color. Now I'll color the parts of the Ariel. So for this, first I will turn the outline layer into a reference layer, and I'm making a new layer and putting it under the reference layer. I will be making new layers to color different parts of this illustration. And here I'm just quickly fixing the outline, and I'm back to coloring. As you can see, sometimes I will color two elements on the same layer, like her bra and pillow. Those elements are far away from each other, so I can do it this way, and this way I can save some layers. Now that I have all the colors, I'm going to do some work on the background. I will do it on a new layer above the background, and I will use here wet acrylic brush. So I'm just mixing here different shades of blue color, just like that. I'm making the middle part of the background color lighter and the bottom darker. I'm smudging these colors a little bit and then I'm painting again. Now I'm going to add some more shadows under the shell. So I'm making a new multiply layer and I will use one of my Patreon texture brushes here. Now I'm doing an overlay layer and I will add some light here on top of the canvas. I'm adding a motion blur to those layers to get a nicer effect. Now I'm moving on and I will be adding textures to different elements of the illustration. I will be making a new layer above the element I want to work on, adjusting the blending mode, and here I will be using mostly multiply and overlay blending modes, and I will be using some texture brushes. Most of them will be my Patreon brushes. And by the way, if you would like to draw more with me, I have many easy to follow step-by-step Procreate tutorials on my Patreon. I also have there almost 200 brushes, so if you are interested, link is in the description of this video. Here for this shell, I decided to use the liquify tool to get a nicer texture here. And now I am also adding here some white paint strokes to make this look even nicer, more like pearl. And now, while I'm adding here some more texture to other elements, I would like to ask you to write a comment. Please let me know who is your favorite cartoon character. For me, I think it would be Mickey Mouse. Your comment will mean a lot to me. I will know that you're enjoying this video and I could see who is watching me. So thank you for doing this. Here I'm adding some texture to her tail, which was my favorite part, and in the end I will try to make it shine even more. I'm leaving her skin and her hair without texture, and I'm starting to add shadow and light to each element. So for this I will be making a new layer above each texture element, setting it to clipping mask and multiply blending mode, and I'm picking a teal color and one of my Patreon brushes to draw the shadow. For lights I'm making an overlay layer, and I will be using this light color here. Here on the shell parts, I don't like this color of the shadow, so I'm using the hue saturation brightness to shift the color a little bit. I think this will look nicer this way. So here I'm moving on to adding shadows to her skin, and for this I will be using the same color as the base color of her skin. And I'm working on a multiply layer. I'm adding one more multiply layer to make the shadows darker in a few places. The light I will do as before, on an overlay layer with a very light color. I'm drawing cheeks on a new layer, and And then I'm going to add shadow and light to her hair. Here for the shadows I will be using the same red color as her hair base color. And here I've decided to add some light texture to her hair to make it more interesting. Now I'm making one more extra layer for the highlights on top of all the layers, and I will set it as add blending mode, and I will just add some highlights. I'm helping myself here with selecting the right areas from the outline layer. Now I'm going to work some more on her tail to make it more shiny. So I'll make a new layer and add glitter effect to it. To make this whole illustration nicer, I'm adding some sparkles in the background. And now in the end, I'm going to recolor the outlines. For this I'm making a new layer on top of the outline layer and setting it as a clipping mask. I will be picking darker and more saturated colors than the base colors for each element. For the top and the bottom part of her tail, I'm choosing very light color, like this one. And in the end, I've decided to add some more highlights in few places, so I'm doing it on a new layer that is set to add blending mode. And now I'm finished. I'm quite happy with this result and I had a lot of fun doing this. I hope you will try this challenge too and show me your drawings on Instagram. I would love to see them. Don't forget to check out my Patreon if you want to draw more of me, and subscribe to my channel for free step-by-step tutorials. Thank you so much for watching and see you in the next video. Bye!